you think of Sam Darnold. I don't want to get all sentimental, but I was actually played against him in his first ever game when he was in the Jets. You know, I believe he started that game with a pick six. Kind of got chased. They beat us, but kind of got chased out of New York. Bounced around a little bit, have 14 wins. I feel for the guy.
It looked, he was so highly touted coming out of USC. It looked, though, like he was on a downward spot. Kevin O'Connell, you just can't say enough about this guy, what he could do with, he was a quarterback. He can do great things with quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Again, for me, as like a guy who's seen the struggles of different players, to see him in that moment, it's very surreal. You tip your cap to Kevin O'Connell, everybody, but I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I really am.
That's awesome. And listen, let's talk about the fact that you've been high on this Vikings team all season long. You've liked this team all season long. This is a complete win against a really good Green Bay Packers team. It really showed how complete this team is, didn't it?
Jay, this was a statement win. You needed this one. The Packers are a legitimate football team. You came out here on both sides of the ball. I thought the scheme was perfect. They did a great job offensively, used different weapons. And you look at the defense here, they got a lot of pressure. And you might sit here and say, if you're watching this game, how do these free runners come? And we're going to try and break this down a little bit here. It's 3rd and 9. So this running back has this linebacker in man coverage. But now you're going to watch a D tackle basically picks the running back so you can delay that blitz.
Wow.
So again, and you got to understand here, these aren't blitzes. When I say blitz, the player's blitzing, but when you only bring 5, it's a pressure. So here again, you're going to have Van Ginkel run up the field. You're then going to have a nice loop here, and you're only bringing 4, so it's not necessarily a blitz, but it's what we call a pressure, because Jordan Love is very good against the blitz. The pressure I thought they struggled with today. Now you go to the other side of the ball. What the Vikings love doing is throwing these in cuts. You can call them ins, daggers, whatever. You see that with Jefferson there. This is a bit shorter. You use Addison. And part of the reason these things are open is both these guys have so much speed they can threaten you over the top. So what's your answer? Let's play cover 2. Let's open the middle of the field. Well, you got T.J. Hawkinson. You pick your poison. Then we talked about Zerto. This is cover 3. So this corner that's playing down on that dagger route, that in cut, should be dropping for where this ball is thrown. So this is why I think this offense really works in such good, chemistry rhythm, because you sit here and it's like, all right, we're going to hit Jefferson on a deep dagger out. Again, that's an in cut. Boom. Addison's got that in his repertoire too. You want to play cover 2? We're going to run Hawkinson right down middle field and smoke you with it. Okay, you want to get a little nosy as a corner and maybe drive that in? We're throwing over the top to Naylor. I love the way they play football. I think the run game needs to develop a little bit. And I think that on the defensive side of the ball, Brian Flores, can really dial up, which I think Packers fans saw today, a really good game plan that can work.
If it wasn't for all the lawsuit against the NFL, all that, Flores for sure would be the front runner for a coaching job next year.
I would assume so. Yeah. Again, I look at what he did today to a very, very good offense.
Yes.
And I sit here and say, this defense, they've been great. They've had a lot of great numbers statistically, struggle a bit against the pass, but they make up for it with pressure. So it's pretty unique what he's doing. He's doing a great job.
You had a lot of praise for the Packers after that win over the Saints this past Monday. Were you disappointed? Did this change the way you see them going into the postseason in your mind in any way?
It doesn't. I think it was a bit of a rude awakening, Jay. And what I mean by that is, you look at game plan, and to me, I thought they were going to come out here and let Jordan Love sling it because, like I said, the Minnesota Vikings are susceptible to giving up a lot of pass yards. But they kind of went good on good. The Minnesota Vikings defense coming into this thing was number 2 in the league as far as yards per game and carries against the run, I'm talking. So you came out here with a great run game in Josh Jacobs, but you simply lost that matchup early. And that's where I was a bit surprised because although you do have a great run game up until today, I think the matchup was better because you still have an elite guy who can sling the pill in Jordan Love. So take advantage of the Vikings' weakness. We just went over a roll-in of all these sacks and pressures. Well, part of the reason is because it's 3rd and long, and you've got to let those pass plays develop. So basically, Minnesota came out, stopped the run. They won that battle, and now all of a sudden they're dialing up pressures left and right. This guy's coming, that guy's leaving. It's hard for a young quarterback to see that. So I think if Matt LaFleur and his staff came back here, they'd probably say, okay, on early downs, we're not going to abandon the run, but let's get a couple screens out there. Let's throw the ball quick, which will eliminate some of the, big loops and stunts. And all of a sudden now we're in a little more 3rd and manageable and put this game on Jordan Love's shoulders instead of our offensive line.
Now, the other big team in the NFC North is the Detroit Lions. They're playing Monday night to wrap up this week in the NFL, and they'll take on the San Francisco 49ers. Regardless, the Lions will face the Vikings next week for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
It's a weird play here because Dan Campbell's obviously going to go full tilt here. I like to say full beans. Everyone's playing. We're ripping. But the team is so banged up that there is a school of thought, which I'm telling you Dan Campbell will not do, where maybe you take your foot off the gas and just play for next week.
Yeah.
It's a weird play. Again, I expect Dan Campbell to do the polar opposite and basically pretend like it's life or death, and I can't fault a man for it.
Okay.